Yes, it is. Welcome aboard. It's a Wednesday. It's a hump day. We are back. We are rocking as much as we can today. We'll do our best as we make our way back. It's been a really interesting couple of days. Obviously, I haven't been on since, we haven't done a show since Friday, actually, which is like the longest that we've been off, obviously, and dealing with gout and dealing with a kidney stone is not an easy thing, ladies and gentlemen. And it takes a lot out of you, man. It does. It was a painful process. It was, and I was lucky in a way. I mean, not that there's any real luck involved, but I was able to pass the stone as quickly as possible because I just, drank all kinds of water and I was pretty close to like maybe drowning myself. And so eventually it spit it out.
I've heard these horror stories about having to go to the hospital and have it pulverized into little pieces.
Yeah.
Passing glass.
Yeah.
The scream from Seinfeld. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
it even upset the Lions.
Yeah. No, it's not a good thing, man. It's not a fun thing to be dealing with, but
you're not supposed to pee glass.
Yeah, but the good thing is we are through it. We've got, it's funny because I could do everything I needed to do yesterday. I can hang out, I can walk around, I can have a conversation, but in order to do a 4-hour talk show, and I'm not doing 4 hours today, but in order to do a 4-hour talk show, it requires a boatload of energy. And the way I do things, I just can't be talking mono, I just can't have that monotone voice and just, hey, how you guys doing? And are you ready to tune into the show today? Are you excited?
I went to my house. I put my car keys in my house door, and the house turned on, and I drove it around the block.
Right, that's it. So I can't do any of that kind of stuff. So that's not ever been my style, that I'm the guy that, brings no emotion to it. I've always brought emotion to everything that I do, and passion's always been kind of, part of my game. In a way, it's what I love to do, and so that's why I bring passion to it every single day. And it's not easy to do it, when it inside of you, it can't go. And yesterday, when I attempted to do it, the video was up for only a couple minutes. You don't really notice anything, but it was just one of those things that I opened the show. And I opened with one of my regular yells that I do, and that yell took everything out of me. And I was like, whoa, I can't recover here on the air. And so I just walked away from the camera, and I said, hey, no show today. It doesn't look like I can do it. And it was just the trauma that my body suffered, obviously. Anybody that's been through it, it was really weird because I've had gout for a while. And I had a kidney stone already one time. So obviously, once you have them, you're susceptible to them. Hydrate, folks. Plenty of hydration. Anyway, I got the kidney stone, right? And I knew right away because I had one like it was a year ago, something like that. And I got the kidney stone, and I thought, okay, the pain started, and just like last time. And then they explained to me the first time around, when that thing is traveling, it's hitting all kinds of nerves and everything. So there was a pain shooting down my hip also. So I thought it was from the kidney, because the kidney's, right around the hip area, right? I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I kind of stayed in the Holiday Inn.
It's down in the lower quadrant.
Somewhere in that area. So I'm telling my wife, I think it's just screwing with me, and it's hitting my hip. And all my gout attacks in my life so far, I've had gout for, 15, 20 years now. And all my gout attacks have been in the toe, in the big toe, or in the ankle. And this time, I didn't realize, because you can get it in the hip and the knees. Never got it in either one. This time around, I didn't realize that I was already also, because of the uric acid, I was in the middle of a gout attack also. And then it was too late to realize that I was in a gout attack. And anybody that's had gout, you know what I'm talking about. You get gout early, you can avoid the big time pain and treat it, and you're out. You know what I mean? Whether you use indomethacin, which I can't because of my heart, or I use prednisone, which is the one I use now. And I know allopurin you can take every single day and all those kind of things. So I end up taking it. I started, and I'm still recovering from the gout. I still have a little bit of gout left, but it went from the ankle to the knee, and it's like on the side of the leg. It's like, and then it's just eventually it's going away, but it's just one of those things.
What's it going to travel up and go out your butt? Is that what?
I don't know. Well, hey man, if it goes out, it goes out. It would be good as long as it goes out and gets the hell out. I would be fine. So that's been my whole day. And you want to know how funny life is? Okay, I'm supposed to be at the combine. Now, we canceled the combine trip. Why? Because I have some other things that are developing and I can't talk about them yet. And so I'm going to use that money to invest in something else that I'm doing. And I couldn't go to the combine because it costs a lot of money to go to the combine, right? And so, it's not like I can go add, I would love to add 2-3 more sponsors right away and, pay for everything, but you can't pay for everything. You know what I'm saying? So I canceled that trip a couple of weeks ago and I couldn't go to the combine. Well, I'm glad I canceled it because I would have never gotten on that plane. Because Monday I'm writhing in pain, pushing a rock out, and I gout and I can barely walk because I'm on one leg. Let me tell you something. Urinating in pain is not a fun thing in your 50s. Okay? It's already a mission to urinate in your 50s because you walk up to the urinal and you're like, okay, you said you wanted to go, and then you stand there and you wait for it to come out finally, and it comes out, So imagine when you're in this deep ass pain it's hitting you, man, and you're trying to compartmentalize the pain and push the pain aside so you can get, your business done. It's not fun, man. It was not a fun thing, I'm telling you. That's why it was stupid yesterday what I did. You know what I mean? To try to do the show yesterday was dumb. And thinking that I could overcome it and just, for 36 hours I'm writhing in pain and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the next day I'm going to turn around and do a 4-hour show. And
powering through was the wrong plan.
Yeah, but that's been me. That's my whole life. That's who I've always been. You know what I mean? I'm not a guy that gives up. I'm not a guy that ever lays down. I'm not the guy that lets anybody get in my way either. That's the other thing, okay? That's just not who I am. And
Can you imagine us on a plane?
No, I would have been
hitting. No, but
I would have never made it.
If you push back the kidney stone 18 hours, and we're on the plane, and you hit
right
when you're on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been brutal, man. That would have been absolutely brutal.
Welcome to Indy.
So, no, my wife would have been freaking out, bro. She would have gotten on a plane right away, and, she would have been like, oh, my Lord, and we got to get you to the hospital, all that stuff. Well, I would have already been
strange
at some kind of a hospital or something.
The timing and the calls,
yeah.
Everything twisted properly.
You know that saying that they always tell you everything always happens for a reason? And you're like, yeah, sure. When you're in the funk, you're not thinking about those kind of things, You don't, it doesn't go through your mind that you're, when I've gone through the issues I went through with, career-wise the last couple of years. So, hey, don't worry about it. Everything works out. And it does sometimes. And sometimes things happen for a reason, We've now been doing the podcast longer than I did in my last project. Okay? You know what I mean? There you go. So it's it's weird. It's weird. Bill makes more money here than he did in his last job. It's weird. It's weird like that, how things work out. It's funny like that. And everything happens for a reason. I finally was able to get the hell out of, QAM. I thought I had the right option with no, it didn't work out. Now I'm happier than ever. So I had to kind of go through hell before I got to heaven. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Steve Miller.
Yeah. And so, maybe it was in the cards for me to cancel the combine because I wasn't going to make it anyway, and I would have lost all that money, by the way. I would have lost the plane flights, all that stuff. Usually you at a last second like that, you end up losing it. So yeah, that's been my, last 72 hours of everything. And then I woke up today and I said, and I got really good sleep. I stayed in bed for a while, and I said, I'll if I feel good, I'll try to do my best today and see if I can do a show, and get some conversation going. And I know a lot of people were reaching. And by the way, thank you to everybody on every platform, because I talked to some people on Facebook and some people on Twitter and some people on Instagram and some people on LinkedIn and some people on text and and emails. And so it's like everybody's been reaching out all over as they've been finding out what the hell is going on with me. But it's nothing serious. That's the good thing. I'm fine. It's just, hey man, listen, in life, there's going to be a lot of pain, right? You got to get through it. Life isn't going to be easy ever. I tell my kid this all the time. Life is going to kick you in the ass, and it's going to kick you in the ass over and over and over again. But whining, complaining, and bitching about it all the time, that's not going to help you. You can bitch for a second, but then you got to turn the page, as Bob Seger would say, and then attack the problem and move on and make it better one way or another. Make the best out of the worst situation that you can. I mean, I was joking at times. And my wife's like, "How can you be joking?" And I go, "You've been with me for 30 years. I joke about everything at any time, any moment, because that's the way I kind of like to break things up a little bit, a little levity. You know what I mean?" And so this is my slice of pain pie that I got. That's all. It's no big deal.
You took a pretty big bite there, buddy.
Yeah, well, it's all right. You take the bite and you go through the experience, and then you live through it, and then you remember, okay, keep hydrating, Big O.
Dealing with gout is one thing. Dealing with kidney stone is another. Putting them together, you got double whammy, brother.
Yeah, and that's because the gout comes from uric acid.
And they're in the same family, and that's the fuel.
The rock that's going through my kidney is a uric acid rock, and that's what's then igniting everything. You know what I mean? But, man, I've never had the gout attack in the hip and the knee. Whoa! I mean, when you get it in the ankle and the toe, it hurts. They all hurt. But you can move around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of hobble, the back heel, since you can't use your toe. You kind of can hobble around. But, man, when it's your hip and your knee, holy crap, it becomes that much more debilitating, man. It is crazy, dude. So there you go. So that has been my experience the last couple of days, and why I apologize I wasn't able to be on the air on Monday and Tuesday. And today I'm also not going to be able to do a complete show, but I am going to do the best that I possibly can, like I've done every single day of my life. Josh says, "What up, Big O? How you feeling?" I hope you've been listening, Josh. You know how I'm feeling now. Big O, missed you. John Santos says, "Miss watching and listening to you from work. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir." Peter says, "Bro, you staying at 1 p.m. now?" Yeah. I'm staying at 1 rock p.m. Okay, is where I'm staying, Peter. Drewbo, you back? Oh, please take care of yourself, my brother. Smiling that you are back. Finns Nation, rejoice. Bill, get him chicken soup. There you go. Yeah, Bill's been taking care of me, man. Myron Sanchez says, "Big O, what's up, brother? Listen, I know you love your show, but first is your health." Amen. But it's just one of those things you feel like you can overcome everything. You know what I mean? It was just dumb. Mark says, "Welcome back, guys. Let us know when you're at Brett's Caneswear. That'll be later on this month. We'll be at Caneswear. Tomorrow, we'll be at Toyota of Hollywood like we are every Thursday. And Fridays, we're at Craig's in Acura 9 to 11, and then Hialeah Park 1 to 4. So this is a nice little test, too, for me for tomorrow, because if I can do this for, an hour, maybe 2 or whatever, I don't know how long I'll go, because I got a whole bunch. I mean, I haven't talked about the fight. I haven't talked about my incredible XFL record. I mean, we haven't talked about the sorry-ass Heat. We haven't talked about the pathetic Panthers. I mean, there's so many things to talk about. NFL draft. They got the Dolphins drafting every player possible in the newspapers and all over the place. So there's a lot of things to talk about. Man of 1,005 holes says, "Afternoon, Big O and Bill. Good to see you're up and better than ever." Well, I don't know about better than ever yet, but we're up.
Semi-functioning.
Yes. Myron's worried that his Lakers are working out Deion Waiters. But that's what happens, my brother. You've lost most of your battles. You only got the other Morris because the other brother went to the Clippers. So you got the other one because he was like, man, do I go to the Clippers and follow my brother again? Nah, I'll just go to the Lakers. I'll be in the same town with my bro. We'll be in the same arena, whatever. On my off nights, I'll go see him. On his off nights, he'll go see me. And that's it. That's been the problem with the Lakers. They have lost out on most of the big free agents that become available. They have gone to the Clippers. Why? Because logic tells you. You look at the two teams, the one that's better is the Clippers, the one that's deeper is the Clippers. And Myron, I hate to tell you, bro, but that's just
a betting man. Would you ever thought that the Clippers would be a more want and go than the Lakers?
Yeah, but
man, look how far they've come.
Once Dr. Bust died,
right? Yes, it totally changed that landscape.
Once Joe Robbie died,
yeah, you're right. The heart.
Yeah, you might want to turn your
the heart. It's a totally different organization,
starts there, bro.
Yeah,
starts there. Hey. Look, they haven't accomplished jack. Okay, jack.
For what was it last year? The last 4 years they had as bad a record as the Knicks.
You're not even listen to me. That's not where I'm going. They haven't accomplished jack. But just the way you treat people, or just the way you handle yourself, everything. The Marlins, go look at them now and under Jeffrey Loria. It starts at the top. Now we'll find out if Sherman and Jeter are really committed. They say they are. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Okay? I've even done it with scumbags in the past. So anyway, so you know who you are. That's why you got to, it starts up there. And we'll find out. We'll find out, man. NFL DFS playback says Tua will be a Dolphin landing in the best situation. Already have a vet in place in Fitzpatrick. Also, we have a backup plan in Rosen. Tua lands in Miami and takes over. That's, it could happen, my brother. It could happen. Look, that day, if they take Tua at 5, I'm not going to tell you that I'm pissed and disappointed, like when they took Tannehill or when they took Yatil Green, or when they took Jamar Fletcher. I could just go on and talk about different draft picks that they took, and I got pissed because I knew that they weren't worthy of that pick. But I will tell you this, I will be disappointed because he's injury prone. I won't be pissed, but I'll be disappointed because I don't expect him to stay healthy. And I don't know how anybody expects him to stay healthy. Really, quite frankly. How in the world does he stay healthy? I don't see that. Alex Diaz says, glad you're back, Big O. I hope you get better, my friend. Thank you, Alex. With your support, with everybody else's support, we will get through this, man. It's not just a speed bump, baby. Just a speed bump. That's it. 72 Fins logo, Big O. I'm glad you're feeling better. You are one tough dude. I pissed a stone with pain meds. Holy crap, you tough. Yeah, well, I'm not tough, man. It's just, whatever. You just, you grind through it, man. You grind through it. I'm just not a person that, I don't like to give in to any kind of adversity. That's just not who I am, man. It's just not who I am. Let's see. Myron says, everything happens for a reason, good or bad. In the end, it's destiny. You're right about that. Flipside Fishing says, welcome back, Big O. GP Central says, you. Let's see what else. Peter says, Mike Monaco had gout on his cack. Oh, that's not good. Gout on the cack is not good. I've never gotten that, and I hope I don't. The Florida Panthers aren't attacking you. He problem? Huh? What the hell is that, Alex? The Florida Panthers aren't attacking you. He problem? Oh, aren't attacking you the problem? No. The problem is that they've underachieved for 10 years under Dale Talon. You know what I love about this trade with Dale Talon? And they trade Trocheck. And we'll get into this now here. What do I trust? It's been 10 years. What are you selling me? You know what I mean? That's my problem right now with Dale Talon. Dude, you've been given everything. You have the keys to the kingdom. You've had multiple coaches. You've turned the players over and over and over. Your draft picks. You hit on a couple, but it's not like in 10 years, you're littered with a whole bunch of people that are dominating on the ice. And you just got rid of one of your better young players. For what? For a couple defensemen that you're going to tell me that they're going to be good, and then more stuff for the future? How much more future is there with Dale Talon? I'm sick of hearing about the future with Dale Talon. Dude, it's 10 years.
In 10 years, you should have built 2 teams, right? 2 teams.
I don't know if I had a gray hair 10 years ago. Now I have a couple. I mean, it just 10 years ago, I wasn't passing stones. Now I pass stones every year now. I mean, 10 years, a lot of things change, bro. Marriages don't last 10 years. Okay? Seriously. You guys know it? How many of your friends never lasted 10 years? Hell, how many of your friends didn't last 5? Okay? I'm celebrating 26 next month. So, I don't know. Where's this marriage going with Dale Talon? Because it seems like this is the bitch that you come home, doesn't cook, doesn't do anything, doesn't take care of the kids, doesn't pay the bills. She does nothing. She just wastes your money. And maybe she's even going out with her friends and cheating and whatever. And you're like in the middle of a hellhole. That's what Dale Talon feels like to me. What's he giving us? I mean, 10 years, this ownership group gave him the keys to the kingdom. Hey, what you did in Chicago. Hey, Jimmy Johnson, what you did in Dallas. You couldn't duplicate it. That's it. You burned out and you moved out. You stuck your tail between your legs after 62-7 and an ass spanking by the Jags. And now here's Dale Talon. Oh, you beat the Coyotes yesterday, 2-1. Woohoo! Wow, I'm supposed to get really pumped about that. And then the articles and then the people in electronic. Don't hang it on the cable. And the people in the electronic business. Well, if the Panthers are only a couple of points out of the playoffs, what the hell is this group going to do in the playoffs? If you don't make a deep run in the playoffs, the season is a disaster. Making the playoffs, the season is a failure. You don't sign Quinville and Bobrovsky to do the same thing you've done with every other goaltender you've ever had and every other coach you've ever had. Go to the first round, get embarrassed, and go home. And then tell us about the prospects and the organization and then the future. Baja mental. Mental masturbation. That's all the Panthers are, dude. That's all Dale Talon is. Mental masturbation. Guy does nothing. So, Alex Diaz, that's my problem. Okay? The Panthers do nothing under Dale Talon. Time to fire his ass. If they don't get into the second round, he has no business keeping his job. None. Because you've had multiple coaches, you've had all kinds of goaltenders, you've had all kinds of players, and the results are the same. What hasn't changed? And if I'm Viola and Sifu, dude, I am pissed because I've done everything I can to win here. I've signed every young player you told me to sign a long-term contract. I've gotten you the coach you need. I gotten the GM. Everybody who said that it was going to be the guy. All of this stuff. You know what? And in hindsight, when they took away some of the power and they were trying to do all that, maybe they should have kept going. What the hell's the difference? So you want to know what my problem is? That's my problem right there.
Based on Panthers' success when they leave us, should we anticipate in the Canes becoming a playoff team and making a Stanley Cup run for Trocheck?
I don't know.
We have so many of them. Oh, this one's in the Stanley Cup. It seems when you leave, you have success.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. NorCal says, a Big O, get rest is most important. Rock out. Yeah, we got some rest today, man. Got some rest. Myron says, life is hard like the board game Life. It's a little harder than that game, but yeah, you're right. Marino Castillo says, Tua no matter what. Let's see. What else do we have? GPP Central says, hoping all yours are healthy and safe. Thank you, sir. Same to you all out there. Sneak Attack 305. Big O, we appreciate you coming on and being hurt, even if it's not a full show. Thank you. Appreciate you guys always tuning in and downloading the show. All of that. Diaz says, sorry, Big O. I meant to say the Florida Panthers aren't attacking the problem. Well, the Florida Panthers suck. That's the problem, bro. Okay? That's the problem. Okay? Dale Talon sucks. That's the problem. All right? Let's just call it like we see it here. We don't screw around on this show. All right? We're the first ones to tell you, hey, Bobrovsky, bro, ain't living up to it. Ain't getting it done. And then everybody gets on the bandwagon. Why? Because it takes somebody with balls to actually point it out. Because then everybody's kind of like, oh, we can't challenge Bobrovsky. I've learned that in 30 years of radio, okay? I've had to ask Don Shul, Don, I didn't get to like really ask him tough questions at the beginning. Pat Riley, Jim Leland, you name it, bro. Jimmy Johnson, any of the hardline coaches that we've had here, I've been the beat guy for those. And I had to stand there face to face to ask them the tough questions that most of the guys, when we were at press conferences, listen to this, okay? I'm the beat guy for the station. Writers would turn to me and say, oh, are you going to ask about this question? Why do you think they do that? One, they know that I'm crazy enough to ask for it because I'm the guy with the balls. And two, they don't want to piss off anybody, so they want to kind of stay neutral. And then so let me piss them off, right? In the end. Here's the funny part. Riley's my favorite of all time, okay? And I'll call out Riley for the James Johnson stuff and all that. Riley used to call my show in the mornings. And I could get him on all the time. He used to listen to our show. Do you know why you used to listen to the show? Because I didn't BS. And you know why Riley also loves it? Because he didn't BS. So he actually respected the fact that I would ask him the tough question. Instead of go on the radio and talk about it, but when I'm face to face with him, I don't bring it up. You know what I mean? So that's who I am. That's how I'm going to Dale Talon, how dare you go? No, you damn right we're going after Dale Talon. Because I'm the first one to bring up, hey, it's 10 years already. It's enough already. Enough. And people in that organization can't argue with me on this. They don't have a leg to stand on, even if the other one's polluted with gout like mine. Okay? So you got to joke about everything, no matter what's going on. So, this is who I am. And we got to go, we got to call it like we see it, man. Dale Talon ain't getting it done.
In relation to the Bob thing, you were saying for the first month and a half, and everybody else was, he starts slow. He starts slow. Remember that?
Yeah.
Everybody was, he starts slow. You were like, no.
You're getting paid $10 million, bro. You're getting paid to be a freaking stud. There's no slow, no nothing. Okay, it's November. Where is it? It's December. Where are you? It's January. Where are you? It's February. Where are you? Enough with the slow start. And enough with Dale Talon already. Bata. Big O, you're so much better on YouTube. You can actually say what he wants now. I said what I want when I was on QAM. Every time. They never stopped. They tried to stop me many times, but I did not. I told them, am I saying anything that's wrong? Well, no, we have a relationship. Okay, so then, sorry, that's your problem, not mine. If the Dolphins are crying like little bitches, if the Hurricanes are whining like wussies, well, you deal with it, man. That's what I loved about Greg Reed. Greg Reed never, that's the one guy that when he was running QAM, and Joe Bell. Joe Bell also never, ever stood in my way because I was never really going after somebody for the wrong reasons. I was going after him because I was right. That's all. Are you going to tell me that Bobrovsky is worth the money? No. Are you going to tell me that Dale Talon is getting it done? No. So you can't argue with me on that. No one in the Panther organization can argue with me on that. The Panthers have their big boy pants on. They've always, that's the great thing about the Panthers, but that's hockey people in general. Like, they know deep in that building, they know Dale Talon is failing badly, miserably. They know it in that building. Okay? So they won't go after you for that. And when Bobrovsky's struggling, you're pointing it out. They know. They're not going to make excuses. At the U and the Dolphins over the years, oh my Lord, sensitive. Wow, it's a joke. Marlins have grown up. These Marlins now, this organization, they don't mind if somebody's struggling, if somebody's not getting, they're cool with that. As long as it's not a personal thing, that's fine. Now, the old Marlins, you sucked and it was personal. Because that's the only way I could treat Loria. It was personal. You're in my town, dude. You're not one of us. And you're not real. Let's see, what else do we have? Myron says, nobody talks about the Panthers anywhere. That is a huge problem. Yeah, the Panthers have been irrelevant forever. Yeah. Dan Lohr says, Big O, how are you feeling? Glad to see you back. Well, you're probably going to have to rewind a little there, Dan, on YouTube, so you can hear everything going on. But I thank you all, man. I really do, as always. And give us the thumbs up. Share the broadcast on a text to your friend, on Twitter, on Facebook, anywhere, whatever platform you're on, Reddit, I don't care. Share it out there and tell everybody that we're on. So Panthers did beat the Coyotes yesterday, 2-1. They will take on Toronto tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow will be at Toyota of Hollywood. Let's get into the other local team, the Miami Heat. They go and beat the Cavs on Saturday, 124-105. And then they play the Cavs 2 nights ago, 2 days later, in Cleveland, and they lose in overtime, 125-119. Now, there's a thing that we've talked about in the past, and I tell you guys this, and I got this from Jimmy Johnson, by the way, and I learned this from Jimmy Johnson. Stats are for losers. And if you ever just lean on stats to tell you the whole story, okay, the Miami Heat are 12-13 in their last 25 games. Do the math, ladies and gentlemen. There's an 82-game schedule. When you are that mediocre for 25 of those games, it's a good indication of who you are. That's not a little losing streak or a little struggle. It's a large portion of your season that you've been really bad. Okay, it's about 30% of your season. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm not a math major, but it's somewhere in that neighborhood, right? So you have struggled a third of your season almost, right? And now you've got to do something about this because you were 24-8. Now, people will tell you this was their first overtime loss because the Heat are 8-0. So let me ask you, the team you've watched at 12-13, is that the team that's 8-0? And then this is the other one I love. Well, there was no Butler and no Tyler. So you need Butler and Tyler Hero to beat the Cavs, but you didn't need Butler to beat the Bucks and to beat the Rockets. You can't have it both ways. They don't play defense. And one of the problems also for them defensively, in defense of the Miami Heat, you got a boatload of young players, man. Their bodies haven't developed. Their minds haven't developed. Duncan Robinson needs to hit the weight room. You know what I mean? Tyler Hero, Kendrick Nunn, all these guys. Carlos Silva looks like he's a little more jacked than the rest of these guys, but he's super raw. So he needs more experience. You've watched Bam grow, right, into his third year, and he's become a better and a better player throughout. And he's become kind of well, he played his ass off the other night, too. He was an all-star. And by the way, Bam, I love you, man. I love you. You're so much like Zoe. Because did you catch him how pissed he was after that game? Like, he almost had a triple-double, and he didn't give a rat's ass about that. That's my favorite player. Those are my players right there. Those are the guys that you need to load your franchise up with. Those kind of guys. Okay? All right? I don't need Drew Lock on the sidelines for the Broncos rapping and throwing his hands up and all this just because he had a decent drive one time. You know, that's scary. Like, that's your quarterback. That's supposed to be your leader. Bam Adebayo is a true leader. Problem is, you need more. And you need more experience. And I think that's also a huge problem for this team right now. And it's nothing that they can control because you've just got to get these guys in the weight room and they've got to get experience. It's really hard for a young basketball team to really dominate in this league. And what's happening with the Miami Heat is they're coming back to their reality. They took off at 24-8 because they were young, spry, energetic. They caught people by surprise. Everybody else wasn't in their groove. Now Stella's found her groove, and they took a couple steps back because they're not 24-8. And maybe they're not 12-13 either. But maybe they're somewhere in the middle of that, which is probably the reality of it all. And what's going on is that this Heat team is the same as the fraudulent Panthers team of 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. 4 years ago. When Gallant made it to the playoffs with 100 points, and they lived off of that 12-game winning streak. I mean, a 12-game winning streak, that's a lot of points, ladies and gentlemen. That's a huge jack. Because go look at their record after the 12-game winning streak. It wasn't that impressive. And so that's what catapulted them. 24-8 is what's catapulting the Heat to where they're at. But now we're finding out they're probably not even going to be a top 5 seed. They're probably going to be a 6. Maybe 5 at best case, but they're not going to be top 4. Philly will pass them up eventually. They're better. They're more talented. Embiid must be really happy with Simmons out for the next couple of weeks because he can go off and score 4,000 points. So they're going to love that, and they're going to roll, and they'll be fine, and they'll pass up Miami because it's the inevitable. So they're going to drop to 5, and they'll have the road that they'll have to go to Philadelphia. And eventually, if the Pacers get their crap together, they'll jump the Heat also down the stretch. And then Miami drops to 6. In the end, the Heat is exactly what I thought they were. A 7-8 seed that is going into the first round and get bounced, which there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. They might end up at 6, so I'm slightly off, but it's the same. It's what I thought. But if it's not for 24-8 and taking advantage of the early start, remember, the Heat have a hard training camp. So they really get their players prepared for the regular season. They're conditioning, all of that. So they're better prepared than everybody else to start. But everybody else's conditioning gets better as the season goes on. Everybody else's game gets sharper as the season goes on. Everybody else's game improves, which is something that has not happened with the Heat. They peaked early, and they have regressed since because they kind of know what they are already. And then they know how they can attack them because they can't defend. And so there's multiple layers. But here's where I got to also lay all of this on you and say, this is the reality. This is not a disappointing season by any stretch for this Miami Heat team. When you have one all-star on your team, which is what we thought they had, now they've got 2 with Bam, okay, you might be able to get to a second round, maybe. But with all these young guys around, it's going to be really, really difficult. And Butler, you're seeing it, man. It's showing. It's, he's missing games. And again, people can make excuses. When I pointed out one guy, two of those games were the birth of his kid. That's fine. Watch the games. Watch him. Watch his body. Okay? He's worn down. That contract's not going to get any better. Next year, Bam Adebayo will be your best player and will be the leader of this team. And everything needs to funnel through Bam. Jimmy has done an awesome job of bringing in that leadership and all of that, but he's not a number one. He's not. He doesn't have it offensively to be a number one. Never has, because that's not who he is. He's a blue-collar guy that went from borderline player to NBA player to then making himself working to the extreme of an all-star. Not a high-end all-star, but just borderline all-star type guy. He's not a star. But here he's a perfect fit to help you develop these guys. He's taken on the right attitude about that. He didn't come in with a selfish attitude. I love what he's done. I really do. It's been better than I even expected. But in the end, we cannot look at this season like a negative season for the Miami Heat. They've had a really, really good year. And if they end at a 5 or a 6, it's a fantastic year. If they end 7 or 8, it's kind of what they should be. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll go to 7 or 8 because they won enough games early that might keep them out of that 7 or 8 spot. But I could see them dropping to 5 or 6 easily. There's no doubt in my mind that they could drop to 5 or 6. Okay? But it's still a good season. The problem is we got programmed and we thought that they were better. Even I did. I thought I was dead ass wrong. I told you guys over and over again, dead wrong about this. I thought for sure this Heat team was better than what I thought. I thought I'm off. These young guys. But nah, youth is a problem in the NBA. It just is. Can't do anything about it. It's just part of the growth plan. By the way, you can always get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Tomorrow we'll be at Toyota of Hollywood, the number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. 6 years in a row, over 400,000 square feet, state-of-the-art facility, which is just absolutely amazing. Steve Ostrov, he does an awesome job out there. Go see Rick. Go see Gary Thompson. Go see Eddie. I mean, so many. Herbie Lopez is just, he's God, man. The guy's awesome. He's golden with customers. I watch him. The other day when I was there was this little old lady that walked in, and you could tell she was going to be a little high maintenance, right? And I could see Eddie kind of taking over, and he made her feel so comfortable. And that's what they do there. They're just great communicators. They care about people. They really do. They try their best. And that's why they sell so many cars. I mean, you walk in there and you're like, wow, this place is amazing because the movement is just crazy. So get on down to 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. Tell them that Big O sent you. Steve Ostrov and the family will take care of you at Toyota of Hollywood.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The world's biggest band is coming twice. Metallica. Headlining the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival. 2 different nights, 2 different sets. The weekend of May 8th through the 10th. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com for all information. Get your tickets on sale right now. The one, the only Metallica. Go to welcometorockvillefestival.com.
We are back. This is the Big O Show. So let's talk a little football. Joe Burrow set to meet with the Bengals today. He of the small hands. I love that story about Joe Burrow and the small hands. It is funny because, you know, the small hand thing with Joe Burrow. Let me explain how it's nothing and it's something. All right? It can actually be both. David Craig had small hands. Dante Culpepper had small hands. They had problems with fumbling. It's happened in the past with other quarterbacks that have had small hands. And I know Mahomes' hands are like a 1/4 inch bigger than Burrow, and he says he hasn't had a problem and all that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an issue if you make it an issue. There have been other guys that have had small hands. Now, here's the thing about Joe Burrow that we don't know. He has been in the SEC and the Big Ten in 2 of the biggest schools in college football. They produce really high-level talent. So he's not in a lot of traffic. When he drops back at Ohio State or he dropped back at LSU, there aren't a lot of people in his face. In the NFL, they're in your face all the time. Not one, not 2, not 3, but all kinds of guys. Whether it's 2 werewolf defensive ends or an outside passing a linebacker, a middle linebacker coming at you, a blitzing corner, a safety, and you've never seen the coverages that you'll see in the NFL. You'll never see the speed, the athletes, and the tenacity and the intelligence that you're going to see in the NFL. These guys are savvy. They know if they can't get to you, they will jump up in the air and swat it. If they can't get to you, they will reach. They will do things, and they're falling down, and they're reaching, trying to knock the ball down. These guys are relentless. So, small hands could be a problem, and it might not. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's fun to talk about. It's a bunch of crap. It all depends on the player. It all depends on his habitual instincts. Does he take care of the football? Is he loosey-goosey with the football and holding it around and exposing it? And if he doesn't have big hands, that's going to be a problem. You know? And I know that there's that one scene where I forgot what team he was playing, where he did scramble a couple times, avoided a couple guys, and got the ball off and made a beautiful play. It was awesome. He's going to have to do a lot of that in the NFL because that's the NFL. In college, it barely happens and especially if you're playing Morehouse State, okay, or FIU, you know, you're going to run into that problem more. If you're playing at Ohio State or LSU, they're going to kind of keep you pretty clean, you know? So I don't really know. It's a nothing story until it becomes something. We don't know Joe Burrow's habits yet. We haven't seen a lot of Joe Burrow yet to know, yeah, he's this guy, he's that guy. Don't know. It's all the unknown. He's a one-year wonder because his other year wasn't that impressive. And at Ohio State wasn't that impressive. Now he got a new coach. I think Joe Brady was the guy that was there and left. And he obviously knew how to dial things up. And let me tell you, he had some special guys there. Everything went his way. God bless him. It's fantastic. But that doesn't mean that he is, the answer yet. And he's played well. You got to like what he's done. But there are those question marks. And let me tell you, he has said all the right things. I think the Bengals meeting, I'm sure, will go fine. I told you guys, this is not the team you fight. You try to fight this guy, Mike Brown, and you're going to lose because that guy doesn't care. So it'll make it even harder on your life. You know what I mean? And more stressful. But it's going to enjoy the winning, Joe, that you did at LSU because you're done winning for a while now. Like I said, Joe can be on the 8-year plan. He can play his 5-year contract, and then they will tag him 3 times, and then he can leave. Although Mike Brown is so cheap that maybe he doesn't even do the 2nd or 3rd tag. Then he finally trades you. So you got a shot, Joe, and maybe your 7th year playing for somebody else. So you're stuck at least 6 with the Bengals. I was thinking 3 tags, but Mike Brown is so cheap that he probably would not even spend the money on the 2nd and 3rd tags because I think it goes up 20% or something like that if you tag him again, and that's a lot of money in a quarterback. And Mike is notoriously cheap. So that's the point where he finally trades him, if he does. But they're not going to, win much with him, unfortunately. He's not turning that franchise around. It's not like Joe Burrow is that much better than Carson Palmer or anything like that. And they had Carson Palmer there. How weird is it that Jordan Palmer is training that kid? So Jordan Palmer trains him, tells him about all the horror stories with Carson, and then that's where you're going. Hey, I've worked with crappy organizations. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun working with the clueless. It's not fun working with people that have no idea what the hell they're doing. Okay? Definitely not. But small hand story with Joe Burrow, I like it. I found it funny as hell. I got to tell you. What else do we have going on in the world of sports that we definitely need to talk about? Mike Vrabel. So Mike Vrabel was asked about Ryan Tannehill. And Mike Vrabel had no commitment for Ryan Tannehill. Interesting. I don't know if you guys saw that. If you did, let me read it for you. If you haven't, because, for those of you that, you're still on the Tannehill bandwagon, Mike Vrabel said on PFT Live on the Scouting Combine that he loves the way Ryan Tannehill worked in 2019, first as a backup, then as a starter, who led the Titans to the playoffs, but asked whether the Titans are re-signing Tannehill, who is set to become a free agent March 18th. Vrabel couldn't say that. With free agency, it's a two-way street, Vrabel said. Players have to want to be back, and teams have to make decisions. Wow. Man, that sounds like a lot of conviction there, doesn't it? Well, that sounds like a guy that really was thinking, yeah, I got to have this guy back. Not. Pretty amazing. I mean, for those of you that bought this hook, line, and sinker that, this guy's turned the corner. You see what he's done? So after all that, because, there's some of you out there that you don't think it's Derrick Henry and the defense that was the straw stirring the drink. Some of you actually think that Ryan Tannehill was the difference maker there, and he's not. Like I've said since day one, the kid's a facilitator on his best day. I told you I'd be laughing my ass off if they give him a long-term contract. They're not there yet. Why? Because deep down inside, they know what they saw. They know that he's not a difference maker. And when they stopped Derrick Henry, he couldn't lift him up. Mike Vrabel played for a guy named Tom Brady, who would lift others up when they were down. And that's what you want at quarterback. You've got to have a guy that can pick up the team when they are down. And at that moment, Derrick Henry was not running the ball. What was it, 7 yards, 11 yards, whatever it was in the second half? They shut him down, and they did the smart thing. They said, all right, Ryan, you beat us. And Ryan couldn't beat him. And I think Vrabel kind of learned his lesson there, like, yeah, he's all right. We can bring him back, and, we can try to make a run, but we all know deep down inside he's not the answer. And that's all I've said. He's a nice player. He does some things for you, but he's a Jag. He'll never be a franchise quarterback. And keeping him in place is a progress stopper. I'd rather put in a young guy that has the potential of being the guy and finding out whether he can do it or not, and then move on to the next guy. I find him, great. I don't, I move on. But I can't stay with the same guy that I know what's going to happen when the crap hits the fan. And I think Mike Vrabel learned his lesson there. Because any coach that wants him back says, no, I know we got to go through the contract process, but we want Ryan back. We want to talk to him. We want to, he's our guy. He's perfect for our system. He's perfect for this. He's perfect for that. And when you listen to that interview, it's more about, what we had to do with Derrick Henry and how Ryan understood what we wanted to do with the running game and how we wanted to take some shots and all that. And Ryan did a fantastic job playing off of Derrick Henry. But then what happens when Derrick Henry's not working? See? And that's the thing. You're going to have to do something at that point. And then that's what they found out. Yeah, he's not the guy. It's just another example. That's all. It's just, he's a great kid. Like I said, you want him to marry your daughter. I don't want him quarterbacking my football team in any way, shape, or form. I know if I have Ryan Tannehill there at quarterback, I know I'm not going anywhere as a franchise. I might make the playoffs. That's about it. But I don't have the guy that's going to take me to a Super Bowl and win it. Please. No way. It's impossible. It's not who he is. And right when I saw that interview, I was like, all right, now I give the Titans some credit. Because, I thanked them for the trade, at least. Got rid of Ryan. You got a 4th rounder in return, which is great to get an extra pick. Get something out of this. It's already been terror to have him for 7 years. It's just a waste of time. And then they were going to sign him to a long-term contract. I was going to laugh my ass off if they were going to actually keep that guy around for several years. Because then that only guarantees you that your line will get old, Derrick Henry will get run out, and then you won't have anything in the end. But there you go. Just in case for those of you that were still on the Tannehill bandwagon. Let's see what we have here. GPS Central says it's going to be 40 degrees tomorrow. I'm not going outside, LOL. Yeah, I don't blame you. 40 degrees pretty cold. Heat basically collapsed defensively versus Cavs in fourth quarter and OT on Monday. Worst loss of the season along with the loss to the Hawks. Time to panic. It's just who they are, man. Don't panic. It's what they are. Ray is saying, hope you feel a little bit better, Big O. Saludos. Thank you, Ray. I do feel much better. I think I opened up with a 40-something minute segment, which is something you'll never get on radio. So I had pretty good energy I just couldn't do this yesterday. It was amazing, man. It was just one of those feelings. I could not get it done. It was weird, man. It was weird, but understandable and stupid ass on my part for even trying it. It's just dumb. Got to be honest with yourself, man. I was just dumb on my part. I should have just stayed away for the day and rested and not even get up early in the morning like what we had to do yesterday. Ian from Brooklyn says, great to see you, Big O. Heal up, sir. Thank you. We will. And all this support here by you guys helps us heal up big time. Is Joe Burrow as good as Andrew Luck was coming out of college? Hell no, Mike. No, not even close. Josh says, I don't think we need a QB. We should give Rosen a chance, but you never know. I don't have a problem with that, but I think that you got to get a QB. You got all these picks. you get two if you're going to draft Tua. But if you don't draft Tua and you draft somebody else, I don't have a problem with that. I bring Rosen back and let him compete with whatever young guy you bring. If it's Tua, obviously, Tua's out for most of the year anyway next year. So he's not going to be competing against Tua. But you'll have everybody else, and maybe Rosen will get some playing time and maybe turns a corner next year. You know what would be funny as hell? I'm not saying it's going to happen, so don't lose your crap here on this. But can you imagine if Rosen pulls a Drew Brees? And what I mean by, relax again, I'm not saying Rosen is Drew Brees. What I'm saying is Josh Rosen is going into year 3 now, okay? Can you imagine if the light all of a sudden went on, like Drew Brees' light went on in year 4, and when they drafted Rivers after year 3, because they were like, okay, well, we got to give up on the kid, whatever, they draft Rivers and Brees explodes. And then they have to, obviously, Brees has to go and goes to New Orleans. But, you know, it's funny. Can you imagine if we had that scenario that even if you draft a quarterback, Tua, even if you draft Josh Gordon or Jordan Love or anybody, whatever, and then all of a sudden, Rosen busts out? I mean, come on. Close the door, bro. Anyway, so, you know, and Jordan busts out. Can you imagine that? I mean, if Rosen busts out, can you imagine that? It'd be amazing, dude. It'd be fantastic. And it would be really troubling and confusing and frustrating at the same time. But, I mean, getting your quarterback is getting your – I don't care how it happens, okay? I really don't. If Rosen ends up late or if it's Jordan Love – if it's Joe Burrow, if it's Tua, I don't care who you get. I just want a quarterback. And I don't care how it happens. But it would be funny if the Rosen light goes on late like it did for Drew Brees. Let's see. NorCal says, I knew the Titans wouldn't re-sign that garbage player RT17. Oh, not garbage. He's just a jag. Nice kid, just a jag. Play action 7. Those Tannehill apologists coming for you, Big O. Yeah. Oh, there's really very few of them left. There's only like one idiot that follows me from station to station, and well, station to station, the now podcast, and constantly is like in love with Ryan. I don't know why, but whatever. But it is fun. It's entertaining that he keeps falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Big O is poking the bear. Don't get the Tannehill lovers upset. LOL. So do the Titans trade up for a QB then? We're going to find out what they do in the draft. We'll see what they think. Well, you have to decide free agency first. Now, what might save their ass is if they don't get the CBA done, they'll have the 2 tags, the franchise and the transition, so they can then transition Tannehill because nobody's trading for Tannehill. But you franchise tag Derek and you transition tag Tannehill and you're fine. Okay? There you go. Michael Pulisic says, does this mean they re-sign Conklin? I don't know. We're going to find out if they get the CBA done, then they lose Conklin. If they don't get the CBA done, they can tag Henry, tag Tannehill, and re-sign Conklin. Yeah, they can do that. So, yeah. That would make a lot of sense. All right, 786-322-1105 on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And adding to that Tannehill story, Jeff Darlington, who, you know, he's been tight with Tannehill for many years now. You know, he came out with a report that the Titans are the lead dogs for Tom Brady. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Jeff is tuned in. He might have a little insight on that. But again, that's another layer that, well, you have a really young guy. not really young, but he's for quarterback, he still has several years left. If you think he's a franchise guy, would you let go of the franchise guy that's way younger? No, you don't. But if you have a legitimate franchise guy that's available for a year or two, because that's all you're going to get Tom Brady for, is a year or two, and then you got to go look for another quarterback. But you don't care because it's important to win now, and you can't win now with Ryan. That's what it tells you. When I saw that story, it's another indictment. And again, kudos to the Titans for not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, for not falling because he hit a couple of deep shots. Some of you out there, you think, wow, he's turned the corner. He's so much better. The Dolphins could have done this and could have done that. They would have gotten nowhere with him. Okay? We're going to get the 96 Cowboys line, and we're going to get Derrick Henry, and then we'll add, let's go with, I don't know, Kellen Winslow. Okay? Let's go old school on tight ends. And then we'll add Jerry Rice on one flanker, and we'll add on the other flanker Mark Clayton. And then we'll have running the slot, we'll have Wes Welker. And then Tannehill, he can facilitate for you because that's all there is on the field is playmakers and a dominant line that will keep him completely clean. No, but we can build that, of course, because it's really easy to find all those Hall of Fame pieces all over the place. So there you go. Brady possibly to the Titans. Another roadblock for Ryan. How's he going to feel that they finally got rid of him in Miami? And sure, he needed a fresh start, but man, so did Miami big time. So he goes to Tennessee. He has a good year, but they don't re-sign him because he's not the answer. Will the Tannehill people actually finally turn the corner at that point? Huh? Doubt it, right?
If they haven't gotten righted yet, it ain't gonna happen,
right, it ain't
man.
Gonna happen. Yeah.
They're gonna go down with that ship kicking and screaming.
Right.
And hey, they didn't no life preservers and no lifeboats on that, and they'll sink.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Yeah. That's definitely one. And speaking of quarterbacks, now you read the articles for the Dolphins, and Jordan Love's in play, not just Tua, and and you'll get the Anthony Gordon one, and you're gonna get some other ones that they'll talk about. If something happens to Joe Burrow, I love how. And then the latest one also that I read was that they're interested in a running back. Do you know that all this stuff will stick on the wall because they need offensive linemen, they need running backs, they need a receiver, they need corners, they need safeties, they need linebackers, they need a couple defensive ends. They need every position possible. So of course they need a running back. Do they take it in the first round, late first round? Do they take it in the second round? I don't know. But they're going to take a running back. Of course they need a running back. And of course they need a quarterback. And of course Jordan Love makes a lot of sense for them. Kid's got a boatload of ability. I don't know if I would take him at 5. That's where it might be a little bit of a reach. But, that 18th pick, you want to maybe move it up a little bit or take him at 18 if he's still there. Great. It's probably where he should be taken, somewhere in the teens, because he's a little bit of a project. But he is, I got to tell you, that talent is intoxicating. But, I mean, these are all articles that I read, and it's like, well, the Dolphins could be going for this, and the Dolphins could be going for that. Well, of course they could. They need everything. They've got 14 picks. So, yeah, I hope that they get a back. Which one? I don't know. But you want some serious playmakers on this team, and you definitely need an explosive back. You need a guy that quarterback can count on, and that quarterback can, lean on. Okay? Like the aforementioned Tannehill gets the lean on. You got to have that guy. And Fitz worked magic this year to win 5 games with that team. That's as impressive as it gets to be able to win 5 games. It's pretty awesome, I got to tell you. But for the Dolphins, look, you just want to get through the medicals here, and you want to get the interviews so you can try to, check out their IQ, check out where their head's at, check out how programmed they are by this point by their agents, and try to get them to be a little honest with you as much as possible. But it's more about what you did on your game tape. Throwing here at the combine means nothing. Running a 40 here at the combine means absolutely nothing. Weightlifting here means nothing, okay? In fact, Bill has a team in the Bears. I forgot the name of the lineman that they took a few years back, and he had like 700 bench press in one sitting, and it was like, wow, never done before, and the guy was in and out of the league. It's like the Mike Mamulas of the world and stuff. The combine doesn't mean that much at all unless we're talking about the health and then the mental part of it, that you test their IQ to find out what they know about football and what how far they are, how remedial they might be, how smart they are, and then the medicals. And going into the medicals, you folks out there, you got to stop with the medicals on Tua will mean nothing whatsoever. They only mean something if it's not healing properly. That's it. But more often than not, everything heals properly, okay? Especially when you're being taken care of at that level with those kind of guys, okay? I'm not talking about, some bootleg surgeon that's not licensed somewhere in Hialeah, okay? All right, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the lady that is injecting concrete in your ass in order for you to have a big ass.
A hard butt.
Yeah. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Dr. James Andrews, okay? I'm talking about when you have surgeons like that, that's a whole different ballgame. So that's good news for that. It means nothing. Here's the part that's funny about some of you out there with Tua. So his medicals mean that he's getting healthy. Does that mean he stays healthy? You mean he didn't have other surgeries that he also recovered from and got healthy and then broke down again? I'm sorry, did they add titanium hips on there? Did they add titanium muscles and cartilage and everything else? Like it's impossible to break them now? Is that what we're talking about? Because that seems to be the attitude that I sense from people. Well, no, he's going to be healthy. Oh, what does that mean? The guy can't stay healthy. What are you talking about? When does he stay healthy? Please help me out on this one. Not exactly sure what you're talking about. They repair one ankle, he screws up the other, screws up the knee, breaks his thumb, now the hip, and the hip is scary as hell. So now he's going to go to a league where they hit harder, they play more games. Yeah, no, that's not a good combination. Come on. I mean, we got to use some common sense here. If you take him, he's a major injury risk. Some guy, some idiot on Twitter, I should have remembered the handle just to rip him. He compared Drew Brees. And I said, moron, Drew Brees had one shoulder surgery. That's it. I get it. It was a shoulder surgery, and it was one of those things that was iffy. But it wasn't like Drew Brees was constantly breaking down at Purdue and then at San Diego. No, this is the injury he had. That's it. This kid, Tua, has been a sack of injuries in only 2 years. So all of a sudden, I'm supposed to think that he's going to stay healthy? Come on, man. You guys, you have to be smarter than that. And I love the people tell me, oh, so now you're into predicting injuries? No, I'm just into predicting injury-prone players. I ripped Jimmy Johnson for Yatil Green. I know some of you weren't even born when I was doing this, or you were like 5 or 10 years old, so you don't even know who Yatil Green is now at this point. That's how much time has passed. Because I've lost a lot of people that are during that time, and we've gained a lot of young people that have no idea. They got to go back to the history and whatever, and you don't really learn history that much about it by just reading something. It's a difference in experiencing it, okay? I'm the guy that was on the sidelines covering Yateel Green as a player, watching his ass constantly break down on a UM field. And I always said, wow, great talent, but dude, I'd never draft that guy. And when Jimmy drafted him on draft day, I ripped him to shreds. And I was right. And Devontae Parker, I made the mistake. Okay? I love Devontae Parker. He was injury prone at Louisville. How did it turn out in Miami? Injury prone for 4 years. And in his 5th year, he stayed healthy. And by the way, folks, we're crossing our fingers that wasn't an aberration. Because if you look at his Louisville history and his Miami history, it's not normal for him to stay mostly healthy in a season. I'm just being honest. Injury-prone players are injury-prone players. It doesn't change pretty much. Once in a while, you'll have a freak. I'll give you Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor had injury after injury after injury for like his first 4 years. And he had some injuries at Florida. Not too many, but he broke down a lot in the NFL. And then he went on a run for like 5-6 years where he just was healthy. And then towards the back end of his career, obviously had a couple injuries. So he got on a little streak, and that's what we're hoping that happens with, obviously, Devontae Parker. But more often than not, injury-prone players are what they are. It's sad, but it's the brutal truth, man, when it comes to injury-prone players.
There's no magic pill that makes you like Teflon all of a sudden, and hey!
None. Sam Bradford had injuries at Oklahoma and continued to break down his entire career in the NFL. And by the way, stole more money without a gun and a mask than any other man in the history of mankind and womankind. Okay? Nobody has stolen more money from the NFL than Sam Bradford. In fact, every thief in the world should be asking Sam Bradford how to devise plans to steal, because that guy is the best. The king of just stealing money. Okay?
I have to tell you, I had no idea about Devontae Parker's issues with injury going back to college. This doesn't look good. You're talking about, if it goes back to college, 5+ years out of 6. Yeah. He's only got 1 healthy year. And even this year, he did miss 2 games, remember, before he came back at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And God, 1,200 yards, the 9 touchdowns.
He's just a super talent.
This looks like,
he's a super talent.
Turning the corner, man.
He's a stud. He's a
major component.
He's a legit
He's
number
a major
one.
component to our. That's like the biggest thing we have going for our offense right now.
Yeah, no, he's a legit number one, man. The thing is that, he's got to stay healthy. But injury-prone players are injury-prone players. So it's not going to change with Tua. So you got to stop with some of you out there. It's like, well, his health report is great. Doesn't mean anything. Have you seen him get hit by a 300-pounder and then get up in the NFL? No. Well, when he starts doing that on a consistent basis, then you can then reach out to me and tell me, oh, you were dead ass wrong. And guess what? I'll be the first to tell you, boy, I'm dead ass wrong. That kid turned durable all of a sudden. But go ahead, knock yourself out with it. And it's almost like you want to fool yourself that he's actually going to turn into a healthy player. And that's just not the case. Let's see what we got here on the text line on YouTube. Let's see. Ty says, hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you, my man. Play Action 7 says Jordan Love. Go Gators says, don't draft Tua. Will be another great talent that can't stay durable, probably. Drubo says, that's a hard ass. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you put enough concrete in it, it's going to be rock solid, rock solid, rock solid, instead of rock bottom. But it could be a rock bottom too. It's love is the Messiah in Miami, period. Oh, love is the Messiah. Okay, well, hey, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem drafting Jordan Love. Only at 5. That's the one that maybe a little risky there. I don't know, Big O. Chris Johnson ran so fast, his pecker came out at the combine, and he turned out pretty great. Doesn't matter. Yeah, he had a neck injury coming out of college. Did he have a long career, Chris Johnson? Did he have a long career, Chris Johnson? I don't think he had a long career, to be honest with you. Mike Monaco says, I've had the gout on my cack, and my girlfriend had to hold it for me. You guys are cacking way too much. It's like comparing Herbert to Tannehill. Why? Let's see. Mike Monaco from the Bronx says, my cousin Pete Peroni used to have the same as Yatil Green, but the last number off, he would give him, would say, yo, Teal, why did you, what? I don't know. Dude, I don't know what the hell that says. Hello, Big O, to you and your panel. Thank you, Sharif. I appreciate you. Josh says, holy cow, Redskins are meeting with Tua and Burrow. They should. That's called due diligence, my man. Doesn't mean that you're drafting them, but you want to know because just in case on draft day, things happen. And you never know. And maybe you're not convinced that your current quarterback is the answer. So that's smart. That's exactly what you should do. Even if you're not drafting somebody, you should meet with them just in case. You never know what happens from now to the draft. Your current quarterback goes and beats up his wife or girlfriend, suffers some kind of an injury in a car accident, whatever. And then all of a sudden, now you're in a position you have to draft. Oh, look, I'm glad we sat down and talked with this quarterback. You never know. You got to protect yourselves. Let's see. Mike Dominguez says, I think I would rather take Tua and have him fall than not take him and see him be great somewhere. You miss every shot you don't take. Again, you know what? That's where I've said, if you take Tua at 5, draft another quarterback. Okay? Peter says, Big O, did you hear Justin? No, I did not. I don't know Justin. If Lions or Chargers jump for Tua, I would then look to trade my 5th to Oakland and 49ers. Sharif, the fantasy trades, do you guys all realize that every fantasy trade you guys come up with, well, what if we trade our 4th and our 5th and our 67th and our 82 and our 207th for the number 1 overall? And what if we trade our 3rd overall pick, we trade down to number 6, but they also give us their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and their 2nd child? None of this ever happens. You guys have way too much time on your hands to be coming up with these wacky-ass trades. I never understand that. It's too funny. It really is. I find it hilarious as hell, the amount of funky trades that you guys come up with. And none of them ever come to fruition. Ever. And don't forget, folks, to give us a reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. And by the way, this week, speaking of football, I think I've developed into the guru of the XFL. We went 4-0 with our picks in the XFL. We took the Roughnecks -6, and they defeated Tampa Bay 34-27, won. We took the Renegades -4.5 against Dallas. They won 24-12. I'm sorry, against Seattle. Okay. And then we took the under because New York sucks. By the way, who's worse, the Guardians, the New York Guardians, or the New York Giants? Because the Jets actually won more games than them. But it's a close race between the New York Guardians or the New York Giants. I mean, they both absolutely suck. So I took the 2 weeks in a row I've hit on the under with the New York Guardians, just to tell you. Anyway, we went the under 40.5, and we won, obviously, with the Guardians, 29-9. They got that garbage touchdown at the end to make it a little interesting, but still stayed in the under. I went with the Wildcats. L.A., I thought, was getting better as they fired Pepper Johnson the first week, Winston Moss, the former Cane. The second week, the defense played much better without Pepper, and they lost a really close game at the end. This week, they dominated. Josh Johnson was dropping dimes, dude. Good for him. And that was fun. And I took the Wildcats +8. They won 39-9. We are now 10-3 against the number after going 4-0 this week. 10-3. So this week, from here on out, we will segment a XFL segment for you with our picks to have a little fun. All right? I like it. Tonight, the Miami Heat take on the Minnesota Timberwolves at 7:30. I got to laugh about something. I'm reading this story about James Johnson. You know, he's playing with the Timberwolves and playing against the Heat. And he has a quote that says, "It's what I needed to resurrect my career." Brother, it's what you needed to resurrect your bank account. Okay? Just because the Heat were dumb enough to give you that contract, you didn't resurrect jack, bro. Okay? Spo and company got you playing at your best for a half a game, half a season, that you played out of your mind like you never played again in your life, and you parlayed that into a beautiful contract. Bless you, brother. I was just talking about Sam Bradford. James Johnson, you are right behind Hassan Whiteside in stealing money without a gun and a mask. Okay? You know, stats are for losers. Boy, Whiteside puts up a whole bunch of stats. They usually mean nothing whatsoever. But I saw that my man says, it's what I need to resurrect my career. Dude, it resurrected your bank account is what it did. Your career is the same. You're still a journeyman. Nothing more, nothing less. You're the same guy. Nothing's changed. You're just a guy that's got a black belt and a lot of money in the bank. That's it. Resurrect my career, James Johnson. Are you kidding me? Loan me $50. As Neil would play the cart of Larry King. Give me a break. I love it. Anyway, all right, it is time to wrap it up here on the show. We gave you, what did I do, Bill? About an hour and a half? Right? We came on like at 1?
Well, if we're going to talk the reality of radio, we did a full 4-hour show.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, pretty much close to 4 hours.
We did.
Yeah, it just took one break, right? Yeah, I took one break. So it's not like one break in 90 minutes. That's pretty impressive for a guy coming off a gout attack and passing a kidney stone.
You're on your way back.
48 hours ago, I'm writhing in pain.
This has been a test. This is only a test. If this has been an actual emergency, we would have notified you where to go to your local. But, yes, this was a good test. And
I think some of you are tuning in to see if I had a heart attack live on the air or something like that.
There's some masochistic people out there.
Yeah, I mean, it would have gone viral, right? Hey, radio host doing his...
All right, Fred Sanford, start clutching your chest. Come on, let's go. Let's boost the ratings.
No, but yesterday, I got to tell you, yesterday...
I feel the big one.
Yesterday, when I gave that shout to start the show, I was like, whoa, yeah, I'm not ready for this. I can't. And I learned my lesson right away. So we tomorrow we'll have Manny Navarro on. We'll get our Miami Hurricanes report going. We'll get our Inter Miami report going with Michelle Kaufman. We'll be at Toyota of Hollywood kicking some ass out there live at 11 a.m. Ready to rock and roll. So if you are anywhere in the Hollywood area, I would appreciate it. Come on by, say hi. You don't know how long more you'll have me. Who knows what happens to me next. No, I'll be fine. It's just speed bump, baby. Speed bump, but we will power through because that's what we do in life, man. We power through. There's no other. Do not let anybody ever get in your way, okay? Don't. And when adversity hits, attack the adversity. Don't avoid it, okay? That's the way you make life a lot better for yourself. Running away from the adversity ain't going to help, man. Shying away from it ain't going to help, baby. Let me say one more thing before I go. And this is, I'm a little behind now because it's been several days now that I've passed. But I just wanted to, give you my admiration for Vanessa Bryant because of the Kobe and Gigi memorial that they had a couple days ago, and how that woman stood up there on that podium and just with incredible class, and the way she was just, I mean, stout, it's just, she was a rock at that moment, and I was super, super impressed. There were a lot of great moments. Jordan, obviously, talking about him being part of another crying meme was freaking hilarious. The Shaq thing, you can tell that Kobe's passing has really affected Shaq because their relationship was never really truly repaired, and you can tell he feels guilty about that. And I'm sure Kobe up above probably has some guilt himself about it too, that both of them didn't handle it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of sucks for them, but that's the reality in life, man. And those kind of things happen to all of us, that we don't connect with some people that we love sometimes as much as we should. And life just has ways of making you go in so many different directions that it takes your mind off of it, Since what's happened to me the last couple of days, I've heard from some people that I haven't heard from in months and years, that they're following you from a distance. You lose contact with them. And then all of a sudden they're back in your lives again because they see what happens to you, And so it's just, it was a real emotional moment for everybody. It's been an emotional time the last couple of weeks, everything that's gone on with Kobe. But at the same time, I thought there was a lot of life lessons in all of that, because there's a lot of experiences that they're all going through that we've all gone through personally. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something that we can all reflect on, and we can look at and maybe learn a little something from it. But Vanessa Bryant's courage is something that I got to tell you, couldn't measure that, man. Can't measure. I can't imagine. She loses her husband and she loses one of her baby girls. That is, anybody that has a wife that's a mother, or your mother, you kind of know what real mothers, the pain and what they feel is, there's nothing that matches that. We can love our kids as men and fathers and all that. We can't top mom, man. We can't top mom. We can never top mom. You know what I'm saying? That connection is just at another level.
One of the biggest things that you keep hearing from everybody, I hadn't talked to this person, blah, got to connect. And, the fact that under the circumstances we're all getting together, but I hadn't seen them in so long.
Yep.
And, I'm reaching out to people. Maybe that's the one thing everybody should walk away from. Don't let it be too long. Don't pick up the phone, call, say hi, reach out.
Always, no doubt about that. Anyway, thank you to all out there. One more thing. Thanks to prednisone. Not just for getting the gout, but it's steroids. My voice is so much better.
That's what it does, man. It opens up stuff. That's what prednisone.
Crazy, man.
My asthma, my Crohn's with the shutdown and test. It just opens everything up, man. Go and flow.
Boy, damn. It's like the voice feels so much better. Everything's flowing now. It's cleared it all up there, man. Because I was struggling the last few weeks doing all those shows in the cold and everything that I had going on.
You see, there's snow in Indianapolis. That's what we're missing. I mean, I love the white stuff. I love snow, but to visit, not to live in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. No,
Imagine
no
where we'd be if we were.
It's great to be back. Thank you all for the love and the support that you give us. You can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. Give us the thumbs up. Share the YouTube link with everybody. Pass it on. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
From Toyota of Hollywood.
From Toyota of Hollywood with 4 jam-packed hours. Okay? Plenty to say. Be good out there.
See y'all tomorrow.
This is the Big O Show.